Hello, and for today's Advectus Shorts, I'm going to be talking about my top 4 tips for in-person interviews. Tip number 1 is to arrive on time. And by on time, I mean 20 minutes early. You should always bring the phone number of your main contact at the school and your phone so that you can call if you're running late. If you are going to be over the time that the interview should start, you should always pull over and give them a ring. Tip number 2 is come prepared. Every teacher should bring a portfolio, which is a notebook, which has in it your documentation, such as your degree, your teacher training, your teacher license, and also some lesson plans that relate to the subject and level that you're interviewing for. And bring, if you can, examples of students' work for that lesson plan so that you can really make the lesson come alive. Having a really organized approach and having this kind of portfolio, which you clearly did put time and effort into, does make a really good impression. It shows that you're organized, that you're anticipating what the schools might need, and it just really makes a great impression. Tip number 3 is dress to impress. I recommend men wear a suit and tie. You should always dress more formally than maybe you think you need to. So a suit and tie, a nicely pressed shirt. For women, a jacket and a skirt or a jacket and trousers. I would recommend that everyone avoid very bright colors. I recommend blue, black, kind of more somber colors, only in that it gives you a more professional appearance. Avoid loud, avoid sexy, avoid edgy. If for an interview situation, these things, you just don't know how they're going to play. And you never go wrong being too conservative. If you do have tattoos, I recommend you make them less visible. You can cover them up, wear long sleeves. If you have facial piercings, I recommend that you remove them unless it's a religious piercing. Tip number 4 is be on your best behavior from the moment you enter the school. That means you're nice to the receptionist, you're nice to the HR person. When you're in the interview itself, you make eye contact with all of the panel. Normally, an in-person interview will have at least 2 people in the interview. And whilst one of them might be asking all the questions, the other person is there to weigh in as well. So it's better not to speak to only one person in the room, speak to all of the people in the room. Make sure you make eye contact. We have had cases where a person came in and they were rude to the receptionist, and they didn't know that the panel actually spoke to the receptionist, and he lost the job because he just wasn't treating people well. We've had other cases where the interviewee left the interview and just said something a little bit negative within earshot of the HR person who was outside of the room. And again, they lost that job. So be on your best behavior from the moment you enter the school. Make sure to smile in the interview. Make sure to try to capture the interviewers' names and use them. So that is my top tips for interviews in person. Please be sure to watch my video about interview tips in general, because everything I say in that one is going to be relevant to this. But good luck.